before.
Hey,
You
it's
missed
always,
us, right?
yeah, it's good to see you guys.
Hard to blame you. How pleased were you with that performance after they ran for over 300 yards?
I'm very pleased, very happy about just the overall effort of our team, but we ran the ball well. The conditions kind of mandated that was going to be the way to move the ball. And the offensive line, the tight ends, we're blocking the receivers, and we ran the ball hard. Our running backs had a lot of good, yardage after contact and things too as well. So just a good group effort of running the football successfully and controlling the clock, and just kind of showing that physicality that you like. And in those situations, or the weather situation, I mean, that was the way to operate, especially the first half.
What's the challenge if there is one? You're going to have to run the ball because of the conditions. They know you're going to try to run the ball. So what's the challenge in trying to essentially still keep them off kilter, despite they know that that's exactly what you're going to be trying to do?
Well, I think it's just like anything. I always say you prepare your team for what you see the opponent doing. You don't prepare for what they might do. You prepare for what they have done. And once the game starts, you adjust to what they're doing. Mm-hmm. So as coaches, you have to make adjustments. And so as they adjusted, we adjusted, and so on and so forth. But I just think it means that you got to be right on point with everything you're doing. There's going to be extra guys around. You got to get them blocked, So that means the tight ends got to get their blocks. That means the receivers got to get their blocks, because those people are going to be closer to the ball, and those guys did. Obviously the O-line's handling usually the inside four and the inside linebackers, but then anything outside of those six are usually controlled by your tight ends and receivers. And I just thought our guys did a great job in all phases from inside out on that.
Jim had a lot of praise for Jim had a lot of praise for Caesar Monday night. What did you see from him? And he created out in the 90s as well.
Yeah, Caesar had a really good game. I mean, he's played consistent for a couple years now for me since I've been here, but he had a really good game, and just he's good in space. We tease him, season space. We give him joke around about that, but we got into a situation where the defenses they were playing, we were able to pull him some and get him on the perimeter, and he likes doing that. And he's very athletic for a big offensive lineman, fast, and so he made some nice plays, at the second level and out there. But yeah, he played really well. So yeah, he graded out the highest, and of a group of guys that graded out very well, he graded out the highest.
When did you guys decide to really kind of tweak the running game, and what led to that?
Well, I mean, weather conditions sometimes, dictate that. So we knew we were going to get into bad weather, and the closer we got to the game, the more it was going to be obvious that we were going to get into that. So we were very prepared with the run game to have more options available in that and use it more. Probably as the week wore on, probably at Wednesday, Thursday, we started really thinking about how to make sure we had enough runs and a variety so we could, if we had to be strictly a run game, because what did we throw it 12 times? And, and some of those were, kind of risky, and in terms of the weather and just you're going to drop back and snap a shotgun and throw it down the field. Not risky, but you know what I mean? You just don't know how wet the ball's going to be. There's a couple of times where there's keeping the ball as dry as they can, and then sometimes the ball sits out there a little bit longer, I mean, it's funny. Like I pay attention to that because the center has to snap it every time. Sometimes the ball's put on the ground and it's there 10 seconds and we snap it. Sometimes it's put on the ground and it's there 30 seconds. Well, in that rain, 20 extra seconds of unprotected football is significantly wetter for everybody dealing with it, which can all of a sudden, everything's going good, we're not having any trouble with the ball, and then all of a sudden the ball sits open for 20 extra seconds and now you got a problem. And no one really realizes that. Maybe no one here ever realized that, but I do, because he has to sit there and grab a hold of it, and it just depends on how long they let it sit out there in the open. But we managed that pretty well. I mean, I don't think we had a fumble by a running back. We fumbled the snap down on the goal line there. That was disappointing because we had a really good play. I mean, if you watch it, it probably would have scored, but ball fell on the ground. But that was a situation, I don't know if we got a dry ball on that, because we were going kind of fast down there. I don't know if we got a dry ball, because that's the one Shea said was the wet. It was really wet when he got it, you know?
10 weeks into the season, how much do you think this offense has really changed? I mean, stylistically. Or is it pretty
I just think as you go along, you figure out who you are. You know, what are your strengths? You know, what personnel are playing the most consistent for you? And then you try to cater to that. And then with the weather, you try to manipulate it. What can you do in these weather situations, you know? So, I mean, I think it's changed some, but not drastically. I mean, some people were saying, oh man, those are some cool plays. We ran those plays earlier in the year. We ran those plays last year. I mean, they're cool plays. Yeah, they're really cool. They're cooler when they work. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's not like we were inventing new plays. Sometimes you just disguise them or decorate them different, or, you know, put different condiments on it. All those kind of things. But they're still, for the O-line and the tight ends and that and the running backs, they're still the same plays. It's just how you present them. But I don't know. I just think that we're finding our groove, and the players that are playing the best, most consistent. What are the strengths of those guys? What's, you know, so just growing as we go. But I do think we've, you know, hit our stride running the football now and got some confidence, you know, gotten a couple really good games out of Hassan. Zach's been pretty consistent throughout. And then, so all of a sudden, you know, you're starting to have more confidence in the run game. And as the weather, you know, in the late fall here gets worse, I mean, that's going to be a positive. And so I just think we grow and learn with the personnel we have and who's playing the best, who's healthy. I mean, we've had a lot of injuries that we don't talk about much, and you can't. What are you going to do? You got to play the guys you got. But, you know, there's been a revolving door of injuries. The line's kind of healthy now, but I mean, were a lot of things in other positions as well. So, yeah, once you settle in and you start having practice week after week with the same guys out there all the time, because what people don't understand is like, okay, this guy's going to be healthy for the game, but he doesn't practice all week. So, what are you going to run with him? Because we all know the best players still need to practice, and they need to practice well to be good on Saturdays. And nobody really knows who's practicing and who doesn't. We do, but you guys don't. So, you know, I mean, sometimes it's hard to know, will he be himself or will he be a shell of himself, even though he's cleared to play, but he didn't practice much, or he's had this or that going on. And, you know, so you have to kind of adapt in games.
Is that a danger, I mean, for coaches sometimes to be focused too much on scheme and try to implement the scheme, and then maybe not focus on the personnel and what they can do? And
oh, it can be. It can be for, you know, I don't think I don't think we see that. But yeah, that's one of the things you got to guard. This play draws up nice on the board. Love this play, but will our guys be good at that? Will that cater to their strengths? So, yeah, that's always what you have to figure out on offense, is how to blend your talent, your personnel, and their strengths with what schematically you like within your system to attack a defense. Yeah, that's really the challenge, to be really good offensively, you know. So I think we are hitting our stride, though. I think we've had pretty good productivity these last 3 games, you know, and so I think there's a lot of confidence on offense right now, coaches and players, and you can tell by that in practice, you know, how we practiced last week, how we're practicing, you know. So I think we just got to keep building on that.
I know you don't coach him directly, and you mentioned Hassan. Were there clues in practice leading up to the last few weeks that he was ready to kind of turn the corner?
Oh, yeah, he's shown a lot of good things in practice, and just shown some talent, some gifts, some vision, some nice cutting and ability to break tackles. But it's like anything. When you get into the season, you don't tackle your back. So, you know, and at some point before the first game, you shut down tackling the backs. Is that good or bad? I mean, it's good if you want him to be healthy. It's sometimes bad if you're trying to find out what a guy can do when it's live bullets, you know what I mean? So, I mean, that's the risk you take, and it's a fine line of what's the right thing to do. But he has definitely shown signs all through training camp of having some potential to be explosive, to make good cuts, to have good vision. And I'm happy for him and for us because now he's gotten to manifest that on the playing field. You know, he's done it in some games here. So he's out, his confidence level's really high, and our team's confidence level in him. And, you know, Zach, like I said, has been playing pretty consistent. So I think, you know, at least we got a 1-2 punch there. True, like he says, has been injured, coming back from being virtually out for quite a bit of time here since training camp. And so, and True had value and is a valuable guy last year. And so now he's starting to come into his own, and we saw some of that as well. And so this thing just, you know, you're starting to get guys that's, like I said, healthy, getting them confident, getting some reps, getting some time in games, and all of a sudden now you're feeling better about the run game, you know.
How's Stuber doing physically and mentally?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. He's on schedule, ahead of schedule. He sits in my meetings every day now. The first couple months, he was just basically doing rehab full-time down there. And, he's in there at least twice a day, but maybe more. But he'll come and he sits in the meetings and is staying engaged in the football part. So, you know, should be able to get back into football activities in January, February, and hopefully by spring he'll be rolling again. Yeah.
Shea's one of those guys who's fully healthy. He said he's fully healthy. How does he enhance the run game? How does he open that? for you?
Well, he's nifty when he's, you know, running around in the pocket. You know, he made some plays the other day, extended. He's always been good at that. And then in the run game, when he's healthy, we've used him as an element in the read option. And he's had a lot of success doing that. I mean, we had the one nice play down there in the red zone, and then he got 15, 20 yards, got it down to about the 2, I think. But he's very quick and very decisive on those type of things. So that's been an added asset too, you know, that being healthy, you don't feel like you're putting him at risk, you know, than when he's dinged up trying to play and run the quarterback. So that's part of the offense. The offense has a zone read component to it. And he was good at those last year, and he's good at them now, and just getting him healthy where you feel like you're not putting him at risk doing that.
At this point in the season, how much discretion is there to maybe get a few more true freshmen linemen in the game and getting their feet wet a little bit while maintaining the red shirt?
Oh, for me, yeah, I think about that quite a bit. I mean, I know how many I got games left with them. Yeah, so if the opportunity warrants itself, yeah, you know, we'll do that. You know, but I mean, it's all based on merit. You know, who's playing the best, who's doing well. Our second team O-line went in and did fantastic at the end of that game. I was really proud of them. I mean, they graded out well. I mean, there was some pretty good aggressive blocks. Spinella said that one that made Twitter fame, you know. He's right up there with Roy for famous plays in Notre Dame, Michigan games, you know. But there were some other really good blocks, but the second group played pretty nicely in there, and so that was good. And then our freshman crew, I mean, we practice every Monday with the young guys, so I get to coach those guys every Monday. So at 6:30, we're out there warming up for practice on Mondays, and so I have a good feel for all those young guys. I know they want to play in some games, so we'll just see if that can work out.
You like that class?
No, I love it. I love that class. Yeah, that class is really good, really talented. All of them are going to be successful here, you know. Different timelines they're on, but, you know, some will be real impactful next year, maybe the others the year after that. But, I mean, I always see that. To me, linemen are at their best their fourth and fifth year, because it takes a while to develop at this level the strength and the skills. But for a lineman to play his first year or second year in college is very rare. But they're all coming along. I mean, some of those young guys, I mean, Barnhart and Keegan are really doing well, and Carpenter's doing well, you know, those three guys. And the others are doing well too. They're just, those probably are the three that are most ahead right now.
What have you seen from Josh Gaddis's demeanor as the season has gone on? Obviously, you know, a high-profile position, first time doing it, but how have you seen him kind of grow into that throughout the season?
Well, Josh is very smart. He knows the system he wants to run. He does a great job of just stay in the course and just keep grinding through. I mean, he's like everybody. We're all human, but I haven't seen him change with the team other than just keep emphasizing the things we think are important. I mean, he does a great job communicating to the team, does a great job in helping to, organize in what the plan is going to be and implementing the plan. And I mean, he's like anybody. We all feel a little bit different after winning that game than you before. And when things are starting to click, it starts to give you a little juice and energy. So, I mean, he's just like all of us, but internally in the building, he hasn't changed any in terms of, but it's like all of us. We're all learning and growing in a new system with different players and the different obstacles we've had. We've had a pretty tough schedule, had a lot of tough road games, and we've had a lot of injuries and a new system, and you blend all that together. And, I think like Coach Harbaugh said, we're starting to hit stride, and then you can start to see that. You see it and feel it.
It seemed like your commitment, though, to the running game changed dramatically after that Wisconsin game. I think the first not in the first 12 plays passes in that game. Ever since then, it's been, a pretty steady balance, at least a balance, or if not a heavy weight towards the run at the outset of a game. Was that game an outlier for you guys?
Well, I just think it was a wake-up call to our whole program. We didn't play well offensively. We didn't play well defensively. We didn't get the job done on the road. We got beat soundly by a really good team, and we had to reevaluate and figure out how we want to develop. We changed how we practice after that. We changed our mindset on a lot of things. But, we started to, push the run game a little bit more at people and be more balanced there. And I think it's all coming to fruition right now for us.
What can a win like Saturday do to validate as you try to preach, these changes in practice, preach improvement, knowing that you still have 4 games left, including a couple big ones?
Well, it's tremendous for the players. I mean, because that's a big game to this program. It's a big game to coach. A top 10 win in that fashion, so credit to our players for not letting any circumstances, whether it be weather or what's going on season-wise or record or anything else, affect. This is what we got to do, and we're going to go out and do the best. And they were all locked in, coaches as well. So that's what you want to see. But I mean, so yeah, everybody's walking around with confidence now. How do you repeat that without being overconfident? What did you do to get yourself to that point? Can you repeat that again? That's the key. Is the really good teams, the Patriots, know how to do that week after week after week. They don't win a game and then they play bad for 3 weeks and then win a game. They win a game and then they get ready and they win another game. And then, how do you learn to handle success as well as how do you learn to handle failure? Because when you fail, you have to grow from that. But with success, you have to learn how to manage it and then continue to move forward. So they're different, but still results. It's a results-based business. How do you deal with those results and move forward in a positive fashion? So that's part of the growing process of a good team too.
Where's Chuck in his development? And
Who's that?
Chuck Filiaga, and what's his future?
Chuck played well when he got in there. Future, he controls his future. He has a lot of ability. He's running second team behind Bredesen. So he'll be ready to go in the spring and fight for the starting left guard position. Very likable kid. He has some gifts, and then there's some things he needs to work on as well. But that's the thing about Chuck, is he's not afraid to work, and he comes out there every day and he practices in those Monday practices to get better every week too. So his future is in his control, because I always say players determine who starts. I don't. All you have to do, you guys can sit in our room and figure out who the 5 best players are. Just watch the film and be in there 16 hours a day like I am. It comes real clear who the 5 best guys are. And then this guy's the 6th best and this guy's the 7th best. So, Chuck will determine whether he becomes a starter here or not, because we're going to coach him like we want him to be a starter. And God gave him enough gifts that if it all comes together for him, he could be. but time will tell on that. Because there's other guys that have those same gifts and talents, and then we're going to coach the same way. And then who's the most productive through spring ball will get the nod for next year. But this, there's nothing holding him back. I mean, it's not like, well, he's not quite big enough, or he's not quite strong enough, he's not quite this or that. He doesn't lack anything that it takes to play successfully. So, and when he goes in there in the game, he did a nice job there Saturday.
You were in a unique position when you got here to Michigan. You joined as an analyst. What were your responsibilities during those first few months, and how the analysts supported you as a coach?
I think it was only a week, wasn't it, or 2 weeks?
Not long.
I was just figuring out where to park and where to get my the main thing I did, it was 2 weeks. The main thing I did in those 2 weeks was took the previous season and broke it down in a way that we could evaluate it. Like if I had been the offensive coordinator here, this is how I would have wanted to self-scout our team to get better. That's what I did. And then had here's the breakdown of the run game, here's breakdown of the passing game, here's the things that you analyze when you self-scout yourself in the offseason to see we weren't good at this, we were good at this, how do we enhance our team? So I set that up, and we were getting ready to go through that process, and then things changed. But that's what I had done, is Coach wanted me to tee up what we call your off-season self-scout, so that before we dove into the 18 season, we had an idea of areas that needed to be improved. And it was, unbiased, because I wasn't here, so I wasn't protecting, well, we were better at this than you think. No, it was strictly an outsider coming in saying, here's what the numbers say, and then, so that was really it.
Do you lean on the analysts now at all?
Oh, tremendously, yeah. Yeah, we have great analysts here. That's one of the things that's great about being at Michigan. We have the resources to have a big staff, and so the analysts here have great football backgrounds, and they're very, they assist us in analyzing opponents, analyzing ourselves, helping, with just the details of football. So, and that gives me more time actually to recruit. So one of the benefits of that is, because some of it is, just grinding on film. Okay, so can somebody tell us, here's the statistical analysis of who they are in these different situations, while you're getting that data for me instead of me getting that data myself. I could be spending 2 hours recruiting. Now I'm done 2 hours of recruiting, you're done 2 hours of grinding data. Now we'll sit down and figure out what we're going to do in short yardage. You know what I mean? And we can do that in 20 minutes instead of spending 2 hours to get the data, now 20 minutes to put the plays in. That's 2 hours and 20 minutes on short yardage. Well, I could do 20 minutes on short yardage and 2 hours recruiting, and this analyst that has coached for 20 some years can give me the data. You know what I mean? So that's the beauty of that. Or I'm getting ready for my position meeting. Somebody has to draw up the cards that we use at practice for the demo team. I can draw up the cards and not be prepared for my position meeting and just fly it off the cuff, because I've coached long enough that I could probably do that and it would be okay, but I can knock a home run meeting out while somebody else is drawing up the cards, and I know the cards are right because they got 25 years of experience, and I know that my meeting I just did home run because I didn't miss anything covering my meeting. So that's the beauty of having those guys, is that there's areas that they're allowed to do that give you more time to be better at what that I'm doing. Because that's what you always is. Time management is the toughest job we got. You know what I mean? And we have guys that have class and they miss meetings, late for meetings, have to leave early at practice. How do I make sure those guys are getting the information covered? You know what I mean? So, Bredesen and Runyon have class on Wednesdays. So they were in here at 7:30 with me this morning, and we're watching film at 7:30. That same meeting that I had at 7:30 with them, I'm going to have at 1:30 with the other guys. You know what I mean? But I couldn't do that if I was breaking down goal line, right? Or I can not break down goal line and then we don't have a good goal line product. You know what I'm saying? So that's the beauty of great analysts. We have great analysts here.
Mike was discussing the phantom pass interference.
Mike
Mike
Zordich.
yeah. And has the officiating this season been unique in the sense, there's been a lot of complaining, and not just, it's not unique to Michigan, it's been sort of around the country if you listen to national college shows. It's
Well, I would just say this. Despite what a lot of people outside think, I mean, coaches are really competitive and really smart, the ones I'm around. And so how are the rules stated, and how can we push the limit on the rules based on how the rules say they're going to officiate? So I think everybody pushes the rules. You know what I mean? So the game has more people, because let's face it, you can hold in the secondary, and if they don't throw the ball to the guy you're holding, it's not holding. The only way it's holding is if you throw the ball to the guy that's not open because they're holding him. So how many quarterbacks are trained? Throw it to the covered guy they're holding. Don't throw it to the open guy. So, so now when they throw it to the guy, so I'm just saying, like, there's people that push the limit. That's how they officiate the rules. So everybody is pushing the limit on what's legal, what's not legal, what the rules say, what the rules don't say. And the officiating has the hardest job in America keeping up with that and making those split-second decisions. So I think those guys got a tough job. I have no comment about whether they're doing. I think overall they do a great job, but I mean, I have no comment about any specific play because I think they're all unique. I think there's mistakes made out there, but I think there's great calls made out there. I think overall, though, they're doing the best they can for our game. They're highly trained. They spend a lot of time doing it. So there's nobody else better. If there were, they'd be out there. So they're the best. So it is what it is. But, I mean, it's like holding calls. If you really just watch, I mean, you get holding on the lines, O-line, D-line a lot, but it's just hard to catch it and see it and call it. You know what I mean? It's just, the game is so fast, and you don't want a penalty every play. We all know when you watch an NFL game and there's 20 penalties in the first half, we're all like, you know what I mean? Right? So to me, it's just everybody's pushing the limit on what you can get away with, not because they're trying to break rules, but what are the rules, what are they enforced, how are they trying to do it, and makes the job hard. And the replays made it different. I mean, some of these calls that we talk about for weeks would never have even been a discussion 5 years ago, but now they're a discussion because we can slow it down to click by click and, oh yeah, he was this far from touching him, his knee was down. Those would have just been fumbles or non-fumbles and move on. Now there's so much technology that dives into the debate and what's allowed to be reviewed, what's not allowed to be reviewed. So it's just a tough thing. And I think overall, though, they're doing the best they can for the game. And I don't feel like leaving games too often that was the cause. There was something that caused the outcome to change because of that. It is what it is. I mean, that's where you have to be able to move on. They have that in basketball and NBA every night, because it comes down to the last minute every night, and the calls that get made in the last minute, they have to deal with that 82 times a year, but you learn to move on.
Did you think Spinellis might have drawn a penalty?
I was worried about that. I was worried, but I just think the ref wasn't sure whether he knew the whistle had blown because he was 50 yards away from the action, not knowing that. Because what we did is that was an RPO play. So we have a run that's supposed to run down the right sideline, and he's leading that play down the right sideline. So he thinks he's blocking for a run going down the sideline, and we pull it and throw an RPO that goes down the other sideline. He has no idea. He's 50, 60 yards from the play, and he's not supposed to be blocking this guy looking around to see what's going on. He's just supposed to stay connected to him and get him blocked and go till he hears a whistle, and we have a huge crowd. It's loud. I don't know when the whistle blew. Because, when you score a touchdown, it doesn't blow. You just run in the end zone, and everybody cheers. You know what I mean? So when is he supposed to stop on a touchdown play? You know what I mean? So I think the ref did the right thing and just said, hey, as long as there's no extracurricular or nobody's trying to hurt anybody, because Steve would have no malintent on his blocking. He was just trying to be aggressive.
So he's had his 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah. Oh, he'll be for infamy. O-line people out there love it. I got more text messages about that block than anything that's happened this season or last season. Oh, yeah. More people are, yeah, so. But I mean, we gave him love for that. I mean, you know, and I like the fact that he didn't try to do anything extra after that to cause anything. Because we're not trying to hurt anybody or anything, you know?
Anything else?
Anything else?
That about covers it.